Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Lovely morning.
You okay?
Yes,
Yeah.
Good, good.
Another lovely day.
Isn't it beautiful?
Hello, Ducky. Hello, Ducky.
Is Sparky helping out today?
Yes, yeah, he's going to do a few demos for me, I think.
Excellent, excellent. He's gorgeous.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Are you okay? You all right?
You okay, Mary?
Yeah, I'm
I'm
fine.
good, thanks. Sorry, I was just letting everyone in. Oh, wrong Mary.
Yeah, another Mary.
Bring them on.
What have you done?
Okay. Morning, Colette.
Morning.
Hi, Denise. You all right?
Morning.
Yeah.
You hi? Yes. I only because the light. Hello.
Hello. Hang on a second. Hello.
Hi, Jill.
Hi.
Hi, Sean.
Hello there. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Hi, Mary. Hi, Mary.
Morning, guys. Oh, it's 20 of you this morning. Brilliant.
There's 5 just in our room.
Morning, Mary. Morning.
Morning, Joe.
Want to be there, Max, with your dinosaur mat? With the dinosaur footprint mat? It's got the dinosaur footprints on it.
Morning, Mary.
Morning. Just let Melanie in as well.
Okay, you need to lie over here. Come on. Good boy. Good boy. You lie down there. There you go. Lie down. Hey, good boy.
Okay. Oh, there's still more people coming. There's people coming who are already here. I don't understand that. Oh, and brilliant. Okay.
Pardon?
Okay. So Carol's here. Are you here, Carol?
Yeah, sorry, I was a bit late, sorry, yeah.
No, that's brilliant. No, I was hoping that you'd be here because I didn't get in touch with you over the weekend about your neck and shoulders. So we're going to do lots of neck and shoulder this morning. So, we'll get cracking, I think.
Thank you.
Time to go. I'm going to mute everybody's mics, so you'll just hear me through the session. If you need to ask a question, you can unmute yourself at the bottom of your screen. Otherwise, we'll meet again on the other side and have a little chat then. Okay, so I'll just do that now. Okay, lovely. So I've got my assistant with me again this morning. He behaved himself. But lie down. We're going to lie down first. You lie down. Okay, so we're going to lie down on our backs. And I just want you to come down onto your mat. We're not doing a good job yet, but you're going to lie down on your back with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor. And just have
Mary.
a little in your shoulders. Yep.
I don't think everybody's muted.
Okay, hang on a second. Let me see what's going on. Oh. Okay. Okay, should be working now. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so you're going to lie down on your back, knees bent and feet flat on the floor. Just make sure before we start that you've got space behind you that you can stretch your arms out over your head without crashing into anything. And just have a little wriggle and make sure that your shoulders aren't scrunched up by your ears. So just let the shoulders release down. You're going to place your right hand on your belly, left hand on your heart, and just close your eyes. And at first you're just going to turn your attention towards your breathing. So smooth inhale, Smooth exhale. Don't need to think about the breathing too much. Just let it happen to you. And as you lie here and you focus on your breath, just noticing how you're feeling this morning. First of all, noticing the physical, what's going on in your body. How do your shoulders feel? How does your back feel? Just noticing maybe areas of your body that may have woken up feeling a bit stiff or dull or achy. Just observe that. And then without going into too much detail, without trying to psychoanalyze yourself, just noticing how you're feeling. So just a general overall tone of emotion. What's it like to be you this morning, lying here, just doing this? You might better describe that as a colour. Maybe you don't have a word for how you feel. That's okay, but just noticing how you feel. And then letting that go and coming back to your breath. So your breath is like the thread, binds your mind and your physical body together into the same space. And when we move with our breath, our whole yoga practice becomes like a moving meditation. I'm going to start really simply. All we're going to do is, as you breathe in, can you just roll your head slowly to the right? And as you exhale, roll your head back to center. And as you inhale, roll your head slowly to the left. And as you exhale, roll your head back to center. Just going to keep on alternating sides, inhaling, turning the head just as far as it's comfortable, and exhaling back to the middle. Each time you do this, just try and roll your chin a little bit closer to your chest, so that as you roll your head from side to side, it feels like your neck is gradually getting a little bit longer. And then we'll come back to the middle. Just let your shoulders relax. Just notice how your neck feels. And then bring your hands down to the floor by the side of your hips. Just let the shoulders relax. And we're going to inhale. We're going to float the hands away from the floor and just reach your arms all the way up and over behind your head. And as you exhale, just going to slowly lower the hands and bring the hands back down by the side of the hips. And the arms float up on the inhalation. As always, the movement follows the breath. And flowing back down on the exhalation. Try to notice the little details here. Like, do both of your hands touch the floor at exactly the same time? Doesn't matter if they do, and it doesn't matter if they don't, just notice. And can you frame your movements with your breath? So you start to breathe in and then the hands lift. And at the top of the movement, when your hands touch the floor again, you're still breathing in. And then there's a pause and the breath turns, and as you exhale, the hands lift and float all the way down. When your hands touch the floor again, you're still breathing out. Let's do that one more time. And then we're going to take the arms back overhead and leave them there. So just reaching the arms overhead. And when you take your arms overhead, just notice, do your arms come into full contact with the floor, or is there some space underneath your elbows? Now, if there's space underneath your elbows, that would indicate that there's a bit of stiffness in your shoulders. So first of all, have a little wriggle in your shoulders. See if you can get the arms to settle. And if the elbows are still raised away from the floor, you're just going to bend the elbows a little bit and take your arms out to the side. So you end up like you're lying in a kind of V shape with the arms. And you might have to take the arms really wide. You might almost have to have the arms out by your sides, and that's okay as well. But once you've found that position where the arms just give and release into the floor, just going to stay there for a couple of breaths. Welcoming the breath into your chest, feeling that opening. And when you're ready, on an exhalation now, you're just going to bring your knees into your chest, bring your arms down onto your knees and give yourself a hug and curl your head right in towards your knees. Let's just rock from side to side, so kind of massaging your back into the floor as you rock from side to side. Good. And then release. Bring your feet back down to the mat. And then just give yourself a moment to settle, maybe wiggle the shoulders a little bit more. And then we're just going to keep the left foot on the floor, bring the right knee in towards the chest. Give your right knee a hug. You're going to take a breath in. As you exhale, curl your head towards your knee. So get this lovely length through the back of the neck, opening through all the fascia in the back of the neck and the shoulders. And then we're going to release down. I'm going to extend that right leg up. So head and shoulders relaxing into the floor. Right leg extends towards the sky. And you're pressing up through your heel. You're drawing down through your toes. Think of that leg like a piece of elastic that's being stretched in both directions. So your heel is reaching upwards. Your sitting bone is drawing down into the mat. Let's just stay for a couple more breaths. Thank you, Sparky. And then on an exhalation, you're going to slide your hands up the back of your leg, and then you're going to raise your head towards your knees. So just getting a little bit more of a stretch going on. Not overworking, we're just warming up still. Check in with your breath, make sure the breath is still slow and steady. And then let's release down. Hug that right knee in. You're going to take your right heel and hook it over your left knee. So you're crossing your ankle over your knee. And then take your right hand and just use it to press your right knee away. Now, as you did that, notice, does your pelvis start to twist to the side? Can you keep your pelvis level? So just working the knee away from you, getting a little bit of an opening into your hip. And then we can take that further by bringing the left knee in towards your chest. You're going to post your right hand through that little hole in between the legs and hold behind your left thigh. Hug in through your left knee, but keep on using your right elbow just to lever the right knee away from you. Probably feeling a little bit of stretching, of opening into the outside of your right hip. If you want to make that stronger, you can lean your weight into your left hip a little bit more. Nice deep breath. Lovely. And then we're going to release the hands and we're going to slide that right leg all the way over the left leg. So your thighs are crossed. And you're going to take your arms out at shoulder height. So taking a breath in here. And as you breathe out, take both knees over towards your right elbow. Your head turns to the left. You get a lovely feeling of twisting and opening through the right shoulder, the right side of the chest. And then from there, we're just going to roll back to center. Exhale, release back. Hug your knees into your chest, uncrossing the legs. And give yourself a little squeeze. Okay, let's pop the feet back down on the ground. A little wriggle in your shoulders. Close your eyes again. Just notice how the two sides of your body feel. You might feel like the right side has dropped, almost like you're rolling down a hill. Just observe that for a moment. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. So bringing the left knee in. First of all, give your knee a hug. You might want to bring your head up to your knee, just feeling that release in the network of connective tissue, of fascia through the back, the shoulders and the neck. You might be able to feel that all the way down into your hips if it's tight. And then release. And then we'll extend the left leg. And again, finding that sensation in the leg where you're opening in both directions. So the heel presses up, the hip grounds down. You're working in both directions. Stay with your breath. And it could be that it feels very different on this side. It could be that you don't want to lift up on this side. Just observe what's going on for you. And if you do feel like you want to challenge your hamstrings a little bit more, then you can go ahead and slide your hands up the back of your leg, raising your head towards your knee. Keep on, as you're doing this, reaching up through the heel and grounding through the sit bone. So there's a tendency to just want to get carried away, bring the leg all the way in towards your face and lift your bum off the floor. Try not to do that. Good. And then exhale, releasing down, hug your knee into your chest. You're going to hook your left heel over your right knee. Try and cross that little knobbly ankle bone over your knee. And then just using your left hand to press into your left thigh. Notice as your pelvis twists, does your right hip want to kind of hoik up a little bit as you do that? Can you keep your pelvis level? Still push the knee away. And then if you want to work more strongly, you can bring your right knee into your chest, just hugging around the back of your right thigh. Left knee moving away still. You can use that left elbow just to press away. Stay with the breath. And if you want a little bit more sensation going on into the outside of that left hip, try leaning to your right. As you lean to your right, can you just wake up the tissues in the outside of that left hip? Good. And then release your hands. You're going to slide your left leg over your right leg. Bring the arms out at shoulder height. This time taking both knees over towards your left elbow and your head turns to the right. Keeping the right shoulder grounded. Taking some lovely deep breaths into your right lung. Good. Exhale, roll back to center, uncross your legs, give your knees a hug. You just rock from side to side. And then we're going to start to rock along the length of the spine. So cross your ankles, hold behind your thighs, and just if you can, first of all, rock your bum off the mats. And you might be able to start to rock your head and shoulders off the mat. So you're rocking lengthways along the spine. And you can make that movement as big or as small as you want to. You might be able to rock all the way up into a seated position. That's great if you can, don't worry if you can't. And however you get there, just coming to sit up on your mat. Okay, so it's going to sit nice and tall. If you want to use a block, you can pop a block underneath your hips just to give you a little bit of additional height in the spine. Relax your shoulders. Good. I'm just going to close the eyes for a moment. I want you to just really become aware of how your neck and your shoulders feel. Is it your tendency to scrunch your shoulders up by your ears? Is that a habit that you notice? Where does your head sit? Is your head normally in a forward position, or is your head aligned beautifully on the top of your spine? Most of us are a little bit forward. How's your face? Are you holding tension in the muscles of your face? Are you clenching your teeth? Are you holding your jaw? Just notice. And then open the eyes. Good. We're going to start with some lovely shoulder circles. So just bring your shoulders right up to touch your earlobes and then roll your shoulders back and down. So you get this lovely rotational movement, opening into the chest. So a lot of the time we feel tension in our neck. Let's say the tension's in the back of the neck. And we presume that that's the problem. So you might go for a massage, you might do some neck circles, and you can't understand why this tension persists in your neck. And the reason is that often we're looking in the wrong place. Just relax your shoulders for a moment. I'm just going to turn sideways so that I can show you this. Your head weighs around about 7%, I think it is, of your full body weight. Okay, so your head's really heavy. Most people's head weighs about 9 pounds. Okay, so it's a really heavy structure to have placed on the top of your spine. And the top bones of your spine are actually really quite delicate. So they're not really designed to hold your head. But if your head is poised perfectly on the top like this, then it's like if you put a bowling ball on top of a golf tee. Okay? Sorry, I'm just getting a message. It weighs a seventh. Sorry. So you're balancing a bowling ball on top of a golf tee. As my husband I've left my notes in the house. He's just brought that to me. Okay, so you've got your bowling ball poised on top of this golf tee. That would work. If you had this immense weight on top, then that would work because the weight would push straight down. Most of us, our head is here. Okay, so if your head is here, for every inch further forward that your head comes, it doubles the amount of force on the muscles in the back of your neck. So the muscles in the back of the neck are under strain. The first thing we need to do is think about how do we release that strain? How do we get our head back into the correct position? So let's have a little look at that now. First of all, bring your shoulders right up by your ears, scrunching up, and then you're going to roll across the back of your neck from shoulder to shoulder. It's a true demonstration of how people think in different ways. I think in pictures. Everything I do is in pictures. Merlin's head's very much number-based. Maths isn't my thing. Numbers aren't my thing. Okay, come back to the middle. Raise your head. Drop your shoulders down. And just notice how your neck feels now. And then just going to drop your head. Let's just release through these muscles in the side of the neck, all the way down into the tip of your shoulder. Drape your right hand so your hand just comes over. Fingers touch the ear. The left shoulder is heavy, melting down. Just notice how that feels. You might even want to take your left hand to the mat. You might want to spider your fingers away on the floor. And then what happens if you bring your head forward a little bit? Can you roll your chin slightly down to your chest? And if those muscles in the back of your neck are tight, then they're going to start to sink to you round about now. Just rolling the chin down little by little. Breathing into the back of the neck. And just explore it. There's no right, there's no wrong. There's just whatever your experience is here. You can bring the head further and further down so your chin comes down towards that collarbone. And then release. And you're going to roll your chin down to your chest, raise up your head, close your eyes, notice your shoulders now. Does one feel warmer? Does one feel higher or lower? Just observe. And then drop your left ear to your left shoulder. We're going to drape your left hand so your fingers are touching your right ear. No need to pull on the head, just let the hand rest, let the arm be heavy. You can take your right fingertips down to the floor, maybe walk your fingers away. Breathe deeply, and each time you exhale, feel that right shoulder gets a little bit heavier. And then we can start to play with it. We can start to explore where the tension is. Let your chin start to roll down towards your chest. Let your hand move around towards the back of your head. And feeling maybe a difference. Maybe There's muscles that are tighter on one side of the neck than the other. Maybe you spend time with a computer screen to one side, or you watch TV over one side of the room and your head gets kind of stuck on one side. Just notice any difference. And then release your hand down and roll your chin back to your chest. Little shoulder circles. Okay. So one of the most useful movements here is to push your chin forward. Remember the bangles? Walk like an Egyptian. You're going to slide your chin forward, and then you're going to slide your chin back. Imagine there's a wall behind your head. Slide your chin forward, and then slide it back. Sliding forward, drawing back, trying to give yourself a double chin, and again, and draw back. You might hear all kinds of creaking and clunking going on here. Good. And then you're going to bring your hands behind your head, interlace your fingers. Okay. And in the same way, try and press your head straight back into your hands. So you're not dropping your chin down, you're just pushing straight back into your hands. And at the same time, push your hands into your head. So you might start to tremble a little bit in your arms here. You're working really hard against yourself, creating an isometric contraction in the muscles. Breathe deeply. Press your head into your hands. And then keep the hands in that position, but relax the arms and just let your chin drop to your chest. So now your arms are kind of draped over the back of the head. You can feel the weight, and the weight creates a little bit of traction into the back of the neck. And then we can just let the hands melt down. We're going to roll the head from side to side. And notice if you're creaking and clunking, or maybe it's silent, like your neck's just been oiled. Okay, let's come back to center. Raise your head. Turn your head slowly to the right. Just notice how far you can turn. Come back to center. Turn to the left. And come back to center. And again to the right. And center. And back to the left. And center. Now you're going to take your right hand, you're going to place it on your right cheek. You're going to push your hand into your cheek, but you're going to turn your head as far as you can to the right. So you're pressing into your face with your hand. You're pressing into your hand with your face. The muscles to the left side of your neck here are really working hard. Take a couple of breaths. And then release your hand and see if you can turn your head a bit further. And come back to center. Same thing on the other side. Place your left hand on your cheek. Turn your head as far as you can. And start to push your hand into your face into your hand. Breathe into it. Feel the muscles in the right side working really hard. Couple more breaths. And then release your hand down. Let your head turn a little bit further. Feel like an owl now. And then come back to the center. More shoulder circles. Can't get enough of these shoulder circles. Just keep rolling back and down, opening the chest. So often when you have a pain in the back of the neck, it's not due to just the muscles in the back of the neck, it's due to this forward position in the shoulders. So we spend a lot of time, maybe we're on our phone, maybe we're reading a book, maybe we're at our computer, maybe we're even driving in our car, and the shoulders come further and further forward and we end up like this. So all of these muscles become really, really tight. Our head assumes this forward tilted position, and yes, the pain is here, but sometimes it's the victim is silent, but it's the criminal that's doing the damage here. Okay, so we've got this pain in the back of the neck. This is our victim screaming at us, and then we've got this contraction in the front, and this is the criminal. This is what's doing damage. All of this is super tight. We need to open out through the pectoral muscles that are dragging the shoulders forward. Okay, so circling back, let's take the hands behind, interlock the fingers and reach your fingers down towards the floor. And we get this lovely open position. And then we want to try and draw the chin back as well. Good. So you're not jutting forward in the neck. Imagine you're pressing the back of your skull into an invisible wall. If you're quite open in the shoulders already, you might be able to lift the hands away from your back. Good. And then release. Shoulders another little circle round. Bring them back up to your ears and roll across the back of your neck from side to side. Good. Come back to center. Relax your shoulders down. You're going to take a deep breath. Squeeze your hands into fists. Squeeze your forearms, your elbows, your shoulders, your face. And then big sigh and just let everything go. And again, deep breath in. Squeeze and hold. Clench your teeth. Screw up your eyes. Big sigh, let it all go. Last time. Deep breath in. Squeeze and hold. And exhale and release. And just close your eyes once more and notice how your shoulders feel. There might be tingling. There might be a warmth in your shoulders. They might feel lighter. Just notice. And then open your eyes again and change the cross of your legs. So you've got the other leg in front. And let's just do some nice cat movements here. We're going to exhale. We're going to round the back. Drop your chin to your chest. Purposely scrunching your shoulders up by your ears. And then draw your heart forward. Draw your shoulders back. Feel that lifting and opening through the front body. Exhaling, rounding, chin to chest. Inhale, lifting and opening. Exhale, rounding. Inhale, opening up. Good. Couple more times. Again, we're releasing this network of fascia through the back and the shoulders. Good. And then we're going to make this into a circular movement. So just rotating around. Imagine you've got a hula hoop around your rib cage. And you just got that lovely movement. Try not to shift around on your bum, so you don't want to roll the weight around in your hips. Your hips are fixed. It's getting all of the movement through the torso. Go the other way. Circling round. Notice if anywhere in your back feels a bit stiff or achy. Good. And then come back to a central position. Okay, you're going to slide the right hand away. Reach the left arm up. Reaching over, right elbow drops towards the floor. Let's take a couple of deep breaths there. Breathing into the side ribs. And then release. Slide away through the left side. Right arm reaches over. Again, nice deep breath into your side ribs. And release. And we're going to come onto all fours. So you can, if you're quite flexible, you could just roll over your feet to bring yourself onto your hands and knees. Otherwise, just bring yourself around any way that works for you. Coming onto all fours, pressing your hands down into the mat. Try and have a nice long line through your spine. So again, be aware of the position of your head. Think of your neck as a continuation of your spine, rather than a separate structure. It's only a word that separates it. Your nose is pointing straight down, and you've got a lovely long line from the crown of your head to your tailbone. We're going to exhale, curling under, rounding the back, dropping the head down. We push the hands forward through the floor. We're going to inhale, draw the heart forward, shoulders back, front body lengthen. Exhaling, rounding, really emphasize that press with the hands forward through the floor. Inhale, pulling the hands back towards the knees as you open and lengthen. Couple more times, just flowing with your breath. Good. And then we're going to come into our neutral position. Good. So taking your right hand through, reaching between your left knee and your left wrist and dropping down onto your shoulder. And you can keep this left hand on the floor and use it just to press the shoulder back a little bit further. Or if you are more flexible, then you could bring your hand around onto your lower back, or even hook your fingers around the top of your right thigh. Remember, your neck should feel free here. If you have brought your hips forward of your knees, you might feel compression in your neck. So just shimmy back a little bit. And then release. Your hand comes to the floor. Unthread your right arm. Take the left arm, reach that through, dropping down onto the left shoulder. Make sure that your head is nice and free, not collapsing through the neck. Press the right hand down, roll the right shoulder back. Lovely feeling of opening up into the back of the chest. And then take the right hand around and hook your fingers around the top of your thigh. If that works. If not, just keep your hand down, it's fine. Okay. And let's release. Back onto hands and knees, and then sit yourself all the way back onto your heels. Lovely stretch out through the upper back. And then rolling yourself up into a kneeling position. Now, if kneeling doesn't work for your ankles or your knees, then just be up in a high kneeling position or sit however it's comfortable for you. I'm going to face you for this. I'm going to inhale, take the arms out to the side. Exhale, cross your right arm over your left. Give yourself a bit of a hug. Inhale the arms out to the side. Exhale, left arm folds over the right. Inhale, open. Exhale, right over left. Try and cross your elbows as much as you can. Inhale, open. Exhale, left arm over right. Opening up. This time cross the right arm over the left arm. Give yourself a hug. Stay in that position. See if you can get your fingers to kind of press between your shoulder blades. Give yourself a little massage in between your shoulder blades. And then we're going to either stay like this, or can you bring your hands to face towards you? So you're just lifting the hands. The right elbow sits into the crease of the left elbow. The fingertips reach up. If you're more flexible, you might be able to bring the palms of your hands together. Doesn't matter. You can just keep the hands facing towards you if that works best for you. But you should be feeling an opening across the back of your shoulders. And then just turn your head to the right, to the middle, to the left, to the middle, to the right, middle, and to the left, and middle, and release. So maybe we've created a little bit more tension in the front now, so we're just going to circle the shoulders back. We're going to take the hands behind and interlace the fingers and stretch down, opening across the chest. Has your head adjusted forward? Can you imagine that wall behind you, pressing your head against that invisible wall? And let's bring the arms out to the side again and exhale. The left arm crosses over the right. Give yourself a hug. Wrap the arms around. If you're uncomfortable sitting on your feet, do straighten the legs out. And then bring the hands to face towards you. Good. And you can stay there, or if you're able to make that bind, you can bring the palms of the hands together. And we'll just turn the head to the left, to the middle, and to the right, to the middle, back to the left, middle, and to the right, and middle. Good. Release your arms again. Take the hands behind you, roll your shoulders back, opening into your chest. Good. And release. Give your shoulders a little shake. So we're going to come forward again, extending the arms, pressing the hands down into the mat, really grounding. I'm going to inhale up to hands and knees, tuck the toes under, and just exhale back into a nice gentle downward dog with your knees very bent. Inhale, hands and knees. Exhale, sit back onto the heels. Inhale, rising up, hands and knees. Exhaling back, downward facing dog. Flowing with your breath. And the next time you're in downward dog, stay in your downward facing dog. Ground through the fingertips into the mat. Try if you can to roll your shoulders away from your ears. Feel as though you're tucking your armpits up into your body. Breathe. And then slowly come back onto your knees and sink the hips back towards the heels. So people often find when they're working in downward facing dog that the shoulders collapse inwards. I'm going to turn this way again. So when you've got your arms out in front of you and you're working in downward facing dog, you want to feel as though your shoulders are rolling outwards. You just bring your arms out in front like this, with your palms facing downwards, and then rotate your hands so that your palms face up towards the ceiling. Notice what happens to your shoulder. Okay, roll the hands back in. And then maybe you can turn the backs of your hands towards the floor so your little fingers come towards each other. Notice what's happened to your shoulder. Your shoulder is now rotating in towards your ears. Okay, so what we want to do is to roll the hands outwards, your palms face out, your shoulder is rolling away from your ear, your bicep is rolling outwards. Now from your elbow, turn your hands down. Okay, so your shoulder is still rolling outwards, but your palms are facing down. So we've got this kind of torsion going on. The forearms are rolling in, but the upper arm is rolling out. And that brings strength to the structure of your arms. Okay, so we've got this spiraling action. Forearms roll in, upper arms roll out. Let's translate that into our downward dog. So bring your arms forward. With the palms on the floor. First of all, roll your arms in. So you're resting on your thumbs, trying to bring your little fingers towards each other. Notice what happens in the shoulder. Notice how the shoulders scrunch up by your ears. Then do the opposite, roll the hands out. So the backs of your hands are on the floor, your palms are facing upwards. Feel where your shoulders are. Your shoulders are dropping down away from your ears. Keep the shoulders down away from your ears and place your palms down. So keeping that rotating action in the biceps. Now inhale to hands and knees. Now press back into your downward dog. Try and recreate that feeling of torsion through the arms, upper arms rolling out, but the palms pressing down. And from there, look to your hands and just step your right foot forward in between your hands. Back knee comes down to the mat. We're going to inhale into a low lunge, heart over hips, roll the shoulders back, interlace your fingers behind you, and let's just stretch the hands down towards the back of the left knee. If you're more flexible, by all means, lunge the hips a little further forward. If you're feeling strong this morning, you might want to lift your back knee off the mat. Release your hands, step all the way back, downward dog. Okay, can we still roll the shoulders out away from the ears? Can we still ground through the hands into the floor? And then look into your hands, step the left foot forward. Right knee comes down, lunge the hips forward, bring yourself up into that low lunge, and roll the shoulders back again. This lovely opening through the chest, interlock the fingers, stretch the hands down, and breathe. Good. If you want to, you can take it into more of a lunge, the hips sinking forward. If you wanted to, you can make it a bit stronger by lifting the back knee off the mat. And exhale, release, plant the hands, step back, downward facing dog, and then slowly just walk your feet into your hands, walk your hands back to your feet, give your head and shoulders a little shake. Deep breath in, big sigh out, and roll up into a standing position. Slowly, slowly coming up. Give your shoulders a little circle. I'm just going to shift my camera angle. Okay, give your shoulders a little circle round, just notice how the shoulders feel now. A little shake, and we'll take some half sun salutations. So feet close together, palms come together at the heart center. We're going to inhale and float the arms up, lifting your chin, looking to your thumbs. Exhale, bend your knees, folding forward, belly to thighs, ribs to thighs, chest to thighs. Draw your heart forwards on the inhale. Keep your neck long. Don't scrunch the back of the neck here. And exhale as you fold in half. Bend your knees. Open the arms out to the side. Inhaling all the way up. And exhale as you sweep your hands back. Breathing in. Arms float up. Lift the chin. Look at the thumb. Exhale, folding forward, belly to thighs, ribs to thighs, grab your ankles, Draw the heart forward on the inhale and fold in half as you exhale. Bend your knees, open the arms wide, neck as long as you come up. The last thing to lift is your head. Good. Looking at the thumbs. Exhale, hands come back to the heart. And we're just going to relax the shoulders again. Just take some nice little shoulder circles round. Good. And then bring your hands to your shoulders. See if you can kiss the elbows together at the front. Good. Taking the elbows as close towards each other at the back. And then you're going to release the arms, circle the whole of your arm back, down and round. And then join the hands together, interlock the fingers here, draw the hands down. We're going to separate the feet, about double your hips width apart. Turn the toes to face outwards. Inhale. As you exhale, turn to your right and fold over your right leg, just looking down at your right foot. Now stay low and swing across to your left, so you're facing over your left leg. And then inhale as you come all the way up and back to center. Do that to the other side. Turn to the left, exhale, folding forward. Stay low as you swing across to your right. And then inhale and come all the way back up. Once more to each side. Turn to the right, exhale, fold forward. Keep drawing the hands back. Swing across to the right side. Inhale, come up, back to center. Going back the way you came. Exhale, forward. Swinging over. Feel the stretch transfer into the other leg. And then inhale and come up. Good. And release your arms. Give your shoulders a shake, and for a moment just step your feet back together. Again, notice how the shoulders feel. Okay, we're going to separate the feet wider now. Nice wide stance, about the length of your leg distance between your feet. And then bend your right knee. Swing your right foot out to 90 degrees. Come onto the toes of your left foot. Dig your left heel away. And just make sure here that you're not leaning forward, so you're keeping your heart over your hips and this nice alignment. You're going to inhale, right leg straightens. Exhale, right knee follows middle toe as we drop into our warrior stance. Inhale. Exhale, sinking down. This time for a variation, take your left hand behind your back and hook your left fingers, if you can, around the top of your right thigh. If you can't reach to do that, just place your hands onto your lower back. And then what we'll do is to reach the right arm up. Bend your right elbow. You may or may not be able to bind your hands behind your back. If you can, just clasping the hands together. If you can't, then you can just keep these fingers hooked around your thigh and keep reaching down your back with your right hand. Good. Once you're there, if you can bind the hands, see if you can lean into your reverse warrior. Keep bending into the right knee. Right elbow reaches up, left elbow draws down. Well done. And then we'll bring the arms out to the side. And we'll just come into our side angle, Bakasana. Maybe drop the elbow to the knee if you know the pose, you want to go further. Good. Lovely long line through the body. Notice how your neck feels here. If your neck's straining, look down at the floor. If your neck's okay, tuck your chin to your top armpit and look to your fingertips. And let's come back up. Good. Square your feet. Let's take that to the other side. So bend the left knee and spin the left foot out. Come onto the toes of the right foot. Push the right heel back. Remember, keep your head aligned over your hips. Make sure that your left knee follows your middle toe. Exhale, take it down. Inhale, straighten the leg. Exhale, down. And inhale, straighten. Good. Exhale. And then for a variation, let's take the right hand behind the back, reaching around. Can you maybe hook your fingers around the top of your thigh? Don't worry if you can't, just place the hand onto the lower back. Let's reach up with the left arm, extend up through the fingertips. Drop your hand down the middle of your back. Maybe you can bind the hands together. Don't get caught up on it if you can't, it doesn't matter. And the top elbow lifts. And you might even want to take that further, working towards a reverse warrior. So the left elbow reaching up and the right elbow pulling down. Good. Inhale back up, release the arms. Exhale, either hand to knee or elbow to knee as we reach over into your side angle pose. Lovely feeling of extension through the side body. Good. And from there, push through your heel, inhale, come back up to center, exhale, relax the arms, square your feet. We're going to keep this wide stance, but just make sure that your big toes line up with each other. Soften into your hips a little bit. Going to inhale. As you exhale, hinging from your hip joints, folding forward. Keep your spine nice and long. You're not trying to put your head on the floor, you're just going to come forward until you're parallel to the floor. Bring your fingertips to the mat. You can't reach, then bend your knees. And we're going to inhale, and the right arm reaches up into the air. Look up at your hand if that's good for your neck. And then exhale, bring it back down. Left side, inhale, reach up, look up. And exhale down. Inhale, right arm reaching up. If it doesn't suit your neck, you can keep looking at the floor. And right hand down, inhale, left arm reaches up. And exhale down. Good. Hands both resting on the ground now. What we're going to do is to walk the hands forward. Little steps, keeping the weight in your feet. Don't let your bum move forwards. Okay, imagine you've got your bum against an invisible wall and you're pressing your sitting bones back actively as you walk your hands forward. It's like downward facing dog, but with very wide legs. Good. And then we're going to walk the hands in. And we're just going to jump the feet together. Okay, so coming into a little squat. Coming down into this little squat or malasana pose. I'm going to shift the camera down so you can see me a little bit better. Okay, so we're in our little squat here, up on the toes. We're just going to open up to the right. Right arm reaches up, look up at your thumb. Or if that doesn't work for you, just look down. Good. And then coming back and opening up to the left side, lovely open chest. And back down, let's do it once more to each side. Opening up. If this isn't working for your knees, then please do just sit down on your bum. And back down. And opening up. And back down. Okay, options here. Either you can sit down on your bum, or we're going to have a little go at working in Bakasana, or crow pose. So I did have a request over the weekend to do more arm balances or arm strengthening stuff. And this you can take as far as it works for you. So one of the things we can do is just to plant the hands on the floor. Hands are shoulder width apart, middle fingers face forward. And again, instead of letting the shoulders scrunch in, we want to roll the shoulders back, open the chest and press the hands down into the mat. And then just lean forward, okay? That might be all that you do. And you're still strengthening your arms, you're still strengthening the muscles, you're still improving your bone density. You don't need to do any more than that. But if you wanted to, you could come up onto your toes. You could even put a block underneath your feet. It's quite a nice way of working. Step up onto a block and bring your knees as high up your arms as you can. And you're using your knees to squeeze into your upper arms as you tilt forward. Press the hands down, and maybe you feel confident to lift one foot off the floor, and maybe you don't. And maybe you feel confident to lift both feet off the floor, and maybe you don't. Okay, so just work at a level that works for you. Breathe. You can still have both feet on the floor, it's absolutely fine. And then just settle back down into your squat. Roll the shoulders a little bit, have a little wriggle. Good. And then release. We're going to sit down, you're going to sit on your bum, and you're going to bring the soles of your feet together. A little rock side to side. A little jiggle in your shoulders. Circle your wrists. Good. And then just for a little bit more opening in the hips, let's lengthen through the spine. Inhale. And fold forward as you exhale. Dropping your head down. Nice deep breaths. And then slowly, slowly inhale and come up and separate your legs out wide to the side. If you want to sit on a block here, you can do. Just taking your legs into a comfortable straddle position, turning to face over your right leg. Inhale, and as you exhale, slide your hands forward and just let your head release down towards your right knee. Left sit bone stays grounded. Got this lovely opening through the upper back and the shoulders. Exhale, slowly inhale and come up. Turn across to the left and exhale as you slide your hands down your left leg. And the head releases down. Stay with it, breathe. Lovely feeling of opening through the side of the waist, opening into those quadratus lumborum muscles down in the lower back there, attaching to the back of the pelvis. Sometimes we've got lower back pain. It really helps to stretch and open those muscles out. And then let's inhale back to center. Give your legs a little shake. Make sure that you're pushing out through your heels. Make sure that your big toes are facing up towards the ceiling. And we're just going to bring the hands to the floor in front. Rather than just try and release down, we're going to work in our cat in this position. Okay, so you're going to round your back, drop your chin to your chest. Exhale. And then draw your heart forward, draw your shoulders back as you inhale. That's just the difference in your hamstrings. Exhale, round your back. Drop your chin to your chest. You could have your hands much closer to your body than I have here if your hamstrings are tight. Inhale, draw your heart forward, lengthen through your spine. Feel how you're leading with your heart. Exhale, rounding. Inhale, draw the heart forward, draw the shoulders back. Exhale, rounding. Inhale, draw the heart forward, draw the shoulders down. Each time you do this cat movement, you might feel like you're sort of caterpillaring your way a little bit closer to the floor each time. And you might not. You might feel like you're just stuck up here working in the cat, and that's fine. Okay? Let's take it a little bit lower each time if you can, without straining in your hamstrings. And then the next time you exhale, you're just going to stay as you are and hold for 3 breaths. It could be that you've managed to wriggle your way quite close to the floor, and it could be that you're still quite high up. Just be where you are, be with your breath. Exhale, inhale, come up. Slide your legs in, and we're going to make our way down onto the mat. Just bring yourself around, knees bent, feet flat on the floor. We're going to roll through a curved spine to come down, and once you're down, just bring your knees to your chest, give yourself a hug, and have a little rock from side to side. Then bring your feet back down to the mat, feet hips width apart, heels lining with the sitting bones. You're going to exhale to curl your tailbone under. And you're going to inhale, continue to press through the feet as you lift up your hips, wiggle your shoulders down, away from your ears, lifting the hips up. It's a lovely opening through the chest. If your shoulders feel a bit more open following that class, you might want to interlock your fingers underneath your body and reach your hands towards the space between your feet. If your shoulders are already quite open, see if you could stand on your fingertips. And if you can stand on your fingertips, could you wriggle and jiggle and get your hands under your feet, so palms facing up, and your heels pressing into the center of your palms. It's quite a strong opening. And then let's release down. Slowly, slowly. Bring your knees into your chest. Little rock from side to side. And take your arms out at shoulder height. Deep breath in. Exhale. Just drop the knees to the right. Turn the head to the left. Try and keep both shoulders grounding into the floor. Inhale, exhale to center. Inhale, exhale the knees, move over to the other side, turning your head to look the opposite way. Might get a little release in your spine when you do this, sometimes happens. Inhale, exhale back to center, just going to give your knees a hug, bring your head up to your knees and slowly lower down. And for an inversion this morning, if you want to, you can just take your block and place it underneath your hips. If you don't have a block, you can actually just do that with your hands. Put your hands underneath the back of your pelvis and raise your legs up. Or as long as you've got no major issues with your neck or your shoulders, we're going to come into the pose of tranquility. I'm just going to show you this. It's quite hard to talk in this position. I'm just going to show you this briefly. The knees come in towards the chest. The feet reach over behind the head. So it's like you've come into your plow pose. Then you take the arms back and you take hold around your ankles. And then you can just release the hips back a little bit until you feel as though you're balancing on the middle of your back. And it should feel tranquil. And if it feels more like the pose of anxiety than the pose of tranquility, then come out and do something else instead. Okay, so if you don't enjoy being in that shape, then just come out sooner. Otherwise, maybe hold here for another 3 breaths. Should feel like a nice opening across the back of the shoulders. And slowly releasing down. You might want to really challenge your abdominal muscles by leaving your arms overhead. See if you can roll down 1 vertebra at a time. If you need to bend your knees, then do. If you can keep your legs straight as you lower your legs, drawing down through your belly, pulling the lower back down into the floor. At any point, if you start to feel your back is arching, just bend your knees and put your feet down on the mat to run out of space. Okay, and coming down onto your back. 1 last little wriggle, knees into the chest, rocking side to side. And then pop your feet down and just lay yourself into Shavasana. So hands away from the body, palms facing up. Just as we did at the very start of the class, just scanning through, noticing how your body feels. And noticing also any change in your mood. Anything that's different. And then you're just going to roll your head to the right as you inhale. And as you exhale, roll back to center. Inhale, roll your head to the left. Exhale, back to center. Couple more times to each side. And then just let your head rest in a central position. Remember, it should be your nose that points up at the ceiling and not your chin. And so your forehead should feel as though it's slightly higher than your chin. If it doesn't, then draw your chin towards your chest a little bit. So just get that length in the neck. And for these last few minutes, just allow yourself to rest. Just enjoying the stillness. And just taking a few slightly longer, slightly deeper breaths. And start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Start to stretch your hands and your feet. Just feeling the energy flowing through your body. Feeling stronger, feeling revitalized, re-energized by your practice. As and when you're ready, just gonna tuck yourself into a little ball and roll onto your right hand side. Coming around into a seated position. We'll close the practice together by, excuse me, by taking our 3 grounding breaths. That is if Sparky will give me my hand back that's wedged into his mouth. Bringing your hands together. Inhale, float the arms up, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, bring your hands down the centre line of the body. Breathing in, float the arms up. And breathing out, slowly rolling. One last time. Inhale, the arms reach up, hands touch. This time, as you exhale, bringing your hands to touch your forehead and to touch your heart. Little bow, bring your chin to your chest. Namaste. So thank you so much for joining me this morning for yoga. Hope your neck and shoulders feel a little bit lighter now. I'll come and unmute you all. If you've got any questions, then stick around. If not, if you need to scoot off, then I'll be back at 6 o'clock this evening with a yin class. So I might see you there, or I might see you tomorrow. Thank you so much. Let's have a look. Who's still there?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, guys. Always still hang on. Try to unmute you. There we go. Unmute all. Why is it not working? There we go. There we go. I can hear you now. Lovely. Great.
Thank you very much, Mary. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Mary.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Sarah. Thanks, Colette.
Thanks, Mary.
Well, actually, while you're all still there online, my nephew Joe, who's joining us in Stockport this morning, has asked me a question about cork-topped yoga mats. I don't know. Has anybody got one of these cork-topped yoga mats? Because I've never used one. So if any of you have and you've got any feedback on them, then Joe would like to know. But no, nobody. I thought you might have one, Sarah. They're very lovely looking, but I've spent such a ridiculous amount of money on my yoga mat. I can't really justify getting another one. But I've got cork blocks, Joe, and I love those. But I'll look into it for you. But my answer there is I don't know. Cool. Lovely.
Thanks, Mary.
Thank you, Sarah.
Mary. Thank you, Mary.
See you later, Mary.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sparky.
Bye.
Thanks, Sparky.
Hi, Sparky.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, Mary. Love.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.